Hello and welcome back to Artificial Alliance.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. I'm back.
Yes,
Remember me?
Jamie's back. Unfortunately, Martin Wiz is still sick. He's in the office. He's getting better, but he had some throat thing, so he doesn't want, or he shouldn't be using his voice too much.
Yeah, those of you who follow our forums and read our dev diaries know that he has been plugging away, and he's working. He sits right next to me. He's working. He's back. He's in good condition, but his throat is still kind of sore, and he doesn't want to be talking too much. So y'all get to deal with me for at least one more week. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We were in a war last time, and
We're in a war right. We're in two wars right now, actually.
oh
apparently.
goodness. Okay. Well,
so
it's a good thing I've got. It's a good thing I got 2 fists and a pocket full of shells. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah, so we're at war with this thing.
This thing.
Yeah, and also a war with this, basically.
Well, I can predict right now that the Xanier Compact is going to be a little bit more compact when we're done with it.
I think all our troops, all our ships are pretty much up here.
Okay. Didn't we declare on someone and then someone behind us like declared on the rear to take advantage of?
That's it. I think I declared on these guys.
Yeah.
To take out this or whatever, and then these guys were opportunists and bastards.
Well,
I'd
it's
call
okay when someone takes all the takes the trouble of declaring war on you. It saves you some unnecessary paperwork to take their stuff. That's how war works, right?
Yeah. People are calling you a cool history guy.
Ha! Hey, I'm happy to see y'all too. It's not something I have previous experience with doing this sort of thing, but I've actually really enjoyed it. So thanks for having me back, my man.
Yeah, and I think people have really enjoyed having you here as well. So
cool. Before we unpause,
we
should probably. I've got a ton of notifications popping around. I've got research that I have to queue up and everything. That's one of the things that can happen in a war, and this actually happens in real. Oh, here we go. Here he starts already. This actually happens in real wars. So much of your administrative focus is on the fight that you start to neglect things like domestic development, things like your research and production. So we should probably, before we unpause and whoop these guys, just make sure that our fleets are topped up, that they're in good condition, and that our economy is sort of stable, and then we can go and kick their asses.
Absolutely.
Sounds reasonable?
I seem to have run out of ships for some reason, which...
Oh, didn't you get caught in a sort of bad battle and you had to...
Yeah, I have 48 battleships. I think that's it.
Yeah, I am actually well under the fleet cap, and I should probably try to build up a bit and fight defensively because...
Yeah.
Where we're at here.
It's a bad time to be a... determined exterminator.
It's a bad time.
I have a lot of energy credits and no minerals.
A bad time to be a galactic bully that picks on their neighbors. We actually built up a reputation for causing trouble, and people wanted to stop us. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Why don't they just all line up and allow me to knock them out one at a time? Just like those old kung fu movies where the bad guys all stand in a circle around the hero and all do poses, but only one of them attacks him at one time.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what?
Oh, slave resource production bonus. We'll be needing that.
Let's see. So we have one almost 5K fleet up here. That's a transport fleet. It doesn't matter. That's like 800 troops or 800 things. That's 12K.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is what caught me.
Okay, so the
the
Brugans are the ones up north.
Yep.
Who we have got a 24% on, and the Xanier are the ones who stabbed us in the back.
Yeah. Let's go for a cheap and
Remember,
quick.
folks, historical lesson: if you declare a surprise war when your enemy's not ready for it, it is seizing the initiative. But if they do it to you, they stabbed you in the back.
Absolutely. Let's go for some quick and easy war goals against the Xanier. Just see what we can get. I'm not going to take any plans from them yet, but we are going to try and humiliate them. Well, you are on your behalf.
Yeah, I like humiliating.
And also try to sort of free the Mythfell so that we can take them later when they're not as strong.
Now, you know what? Martin has... on his save here, he's got enough unity to unlock a tradition.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting on this for 2 game sessions now thinking he would come back next week. But I also feel like that's a lot of potential benefits we could be getting that we're not getting while we're in the middle of a war. So let's look at the tradition tree here
Yeah.
and see what I should take. So you've got domination,
Mm-hmm.
and that seems to be focused primarily
I think
on
that's
subject nations
yeah.
rather than outright conquering and annexing. So I don't think he would dig that. I
No,
don't think
no,
that fits his play style, at least in this game. Versatility, what do we got here?
It's a lot about the Federation stuff, which we are in one.
Leader capacity,
Better leaders.
more unity,
Um,
modification points,
and then
and form federation.
which we already have one.
Discovery, I feel
That's kind of late now.
discovery is something that you sort of adopt late in the game or not at all, because it's an early thing.
Yeah.
Prosperity, ship build speed, ship upkeep,
It's probably the
building
best choice.
upkeep, pop upkeep. So basically just economy.
Mm-hmm. Which we were talking about, or you were talking about economy, so
Yeah, the thing is I'm doing quite well in that respect. I mean, I'm not hurting for resources anywhere. So I wonder if versatility in terms of improving robot pops. More
but
leaders.
you could also use more ships.
That's fair.
You do have only 2/3 of your fleet cap.
Yeah. All right. Prosperity it is then.
Yep.
Reduces build
Can force
costs.
that on you there.
No, that's reasonable. I mean, you've been in this one since the beginning, and I only just came in as a late game tourist.
I mean, at this point, it's basically halfway through.
Yeah. Ascension perk available. Oh, do I dare
yeah.
choose an ascension perk for him
Well,
as well?
Is there galactic force projection would be pretty good with
Increases
prosperity.
naval capacity.
Yeah. And I don't think we're gonna need to worry about fallen empires at any given time right now.
Or would basically the choices I see in this situation are force projection for the fleet capacity,
yeah.
or synthetic age if we want to get more new and advanced roblorgs.
Yeah. Since we are in 2 wars right now, fleet capacity could be a good thing.
That's reasonable, but I also try to think of the long game in terms of if you have better citizens, you can meet the future, not just the needs of right now.
Sure.
But Stalin once said, "Quantity has a quality all its own." Okay. Actually, that's ironic talk considering that today's dev diary about anti-doomstack changes.
Yeah.
But that's something that we really need to do. It is, because
Absolutely.
many people feel, and they're rightly so, that the consequences of one lost battle in the game are so decisive and dramatic that basically the first major engagement almost decides the war.
Yeah.
And that's really ahistorical. I mean, to me, if you study history, it's very rare that any side allows itself to be its entire fate to be set on one roll of the dice. Typically, victory in a war comes from stringing a series of victories together, and that means 2 things. The attacker has to be aggressive and persistent and not just lucky, and the defender, if he's intelligent and uses his resources carefully and chooses where and when to fight, can turn the tables by wearing down a superior attacker over time. I mean, you can look at all sorts of historical David and Goliath examples, like, the Greeks against the Persians. The Winter War of the Finns versus the Soviets, where a vastly numerically superior opponent was beaten by a higher quality, smaller force that fought intelligently and used the tools it had well.
I mean, it's basically guerrilla tactics.
That's precisely
which kind of isn't an option in current Stellaris.
We are a grand strategy game. You don't control the movements of individual ships.
No.
So there is a degree where numbers are always going to be strongly. It's always an advantage to have more ships because it gives you more loss tolerance. You can make more mistakes and keep fighting.
Yeah.
But the idea is that if you're outnumbered badly, you're not automatically doomed. You can still fight intelligently, and if you are really clever about it, you might be able to get out of it. You might maybe not win the war, but win a more favorable peace than you would, which would otherwise be total annexation. Totally. Okay.
All right. Let's see. I have a couple of planets with not filled out robots.
Yeah, I need to look at some of my worlds as well, because I haven't looked at them at all since we've been fighting, and I just want to make sure that they're built up properly. Ton of unupgraded buildings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think at one point I was running out of. Yeah, probably because my fleet is dead. I'm no longer running out of energy, so I had like a bunch of planets where I assume I was running out of energy because I have a bunch of people making energy credits where I need none. So let's see if we can adjust that real quick. Let's move this guy instead. Right.
Any interesting questions from the chat?
Yeah, so we have we have a question here regarding what you just said and the changes to Doom stacks.
Yes.
And fixing Doom stacks, as Martin said in the developer diary, is not one problem you fix. It's many problems and many solutions.
Yes, it is. I mean, here's the thing. Numbers should be an advantage. We're going to work carefully to make sure that you still have an advantage when you're attacking with a superior fleet. The idea is to make it less of an absolutely decisive one, so that if you play clever and if you use quality and clever tactics, you can grind down a superior attacker and force, especially when fighting from friendly territory, and hopefully get out of that war mostly intact. The sort of Finland model, right?
Absolutely.
I should build some pops.
Okay. Let's see if we have any other. People are talking about a lot about Troy and the Trojans.
Yeah, well, they tried to grind down the Hellenes, but in the end, numbers do. There's lots of examples of history where brute numbers did decide the issue too. We just don't want it to be one way all the time without variation and with total predictability.
History is nuanced,
and we tend to respect the leaders and cultures we tend to idolize the most are the ones who, rather than becoming rich and powerful and winning in wars simply because they were physically large, simply because they had a massive population and resources, we tend to idolize the small, scrappy nations who didn't have every advantage, but used what they had intelligently and stayed in the fight. I mean, Finland is the classic example in the 20th century. It's the only nation that fought the Soviet Union in World War II, that fought Stalin and kept their independence. They lost some territory on the border, but they kept their capital. They didn't have a puppet communist government installed like everyone else that Stalin fought. It was a massive achievement for a tiny country.
And they got some amazing characters out of it, or what do you want to call them? People like the White Death.
Oh yeah, precisely. I mean, it's a modern saga, really. You know, it's dramatic stuff. I highly recommend. There's a guy named Trotter who wrote a book called what was it? What was it called? Something the Winter War.
No idea.
White. Man, I don't remember, but it's in my box of books at home. It's an absolutely brilliant introduction to the conflict for people who've not read about it. The Winter War, 1939 to 1940. Really interesting stuff. Check it out if you've not read about it. Okay, so I've built up my worlds. Let me see if any of them need garrisons, because I might be getting invaded in a few more places soon. Because I got to move our fleet over Kroldar. Where are we at here? They took Obtelas in the far southwest, and they're probably heading for Uproth next.
Probably. I think you have the fleet to deal with them, but I'm not sure. They are actually overwhelming me, but I'm almost dead in naval capacity. So maybe you will have a better relative power than I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hold them off while you try to rebuild. Let me just quickly queue up some defensive construction here.
Let's see, we have a question here coming in about Humanoids, the new species pack, which we announced last week, if you haven't been keeping track.
It's coming out in 1 week.
In 1 week.
And it's going to be amazing. We've been teasing the portraits and the ships. I think they look awesome.
So we have a question here which is semi-relevant, which is, will the new portraits consist of any space furries, like space huskies, space German shepherds, and so on? And that would be mammalian.
Those would be more mammal type. These are specifically focused on humans and near humans in the classic, like inspired by lots of classic Western science fiction, where they're basically human in structure. We're not doing so much of the. This one doesn't have sort of anthropomorphic animals in the way that some of the others have. It's got an awesome looking ship class, and I'm going to show you some more of those in the coming days. We're going to get them teased. And
they are amazing. I know Martin has been. Not so much teasing as just straight up posting screenshots from Humanoids.
We're gonna,
and it's coming with how many new races is it?
It's one new pre-scripted empire. They're called the Vor Technocracy. They're actually written into. They have their own portrait. It's one you can choose it. You don't have to use the pre-scripted one. But they're basically the guys from the loading screen. The dudes with the cables coming out of the backs of their heads. Finally, you get to see the fronts of their heads. This is something that I made a high priority when I joined this team. Don't Don't turn your back on me, mysterious loading screen aliens.
Yeah.
Don't turn your back on me.
But how many new portraits? Do you know off the top of
There
your
are
head?
10.
10 new portraits.
There are 10 with a dramatic variety. There's something in there for everyone.
3 new advisors.
3 new advisor voices. One based on a sort of like diplomat. One's called the diplomat, and it's it's based on what we imagine the spokesman for the United
Nations of Earth.
United Nations of Earth would sound like. And one that's sort of the more coldly, efficiently militaristic voice for the
which a lot of people asked for when we announced the voices.
And now we've got both flavors of aggressive and militarist. You've got the cold, calculating, like yes type, and you've got your space berserker, so you can do it all. And also a voice for the Vur, which is highly modulated and gravelly and coldly, materialistically logical. It's brilliant.
Very cold materialist. Whereas the other materialist is sort of like a nerdy. Yeah, almost.
like a sort of like over-engaged high school student who like is really good at math and sciences but doesn't know how to talk to girls.
The new materialist voice I think fits very well with sort of a synthetic ascension style empire. You're gonna need to set war goals, by the way, for this war against the Sanner Compact. By the way,
can't my war goals just to be to, like, I don't know,
set it to humiliate,
drop tons and tons and tons of sparkles in their orbit and trap them on their planet forever, because anything that tries to fly through it gets shredded by sparkles. That should be a war goal.
Yeah. That sounds more like a part of the war.
Yeah, that sounds like something that I would fight for. Okay, what do we got here? War demands against...
Also, there are 3 new music tracks coming with Humanoids as well. Which are...
They are actually remixed versions of original tracks from previous releases of the game. We just wanted to put a different spin on them and add a little bit of value to the pack as a nice bonus thing. So new voices, new music, which will be added to the soundtrack for everyone who owns it for free.
Yep. And they are remixed by our in-house music producer, which we have now. Yeah,
we have a guy who's in charge of Tobias Gustafsson. He's in charge of music for the whole company, which is a big thing for us because we never had a role like that before. But as we're doing more projects, it's something that we would like to expand. We find that people are really responding well to the audio, more than we expected, because it was always kind of an afterthought in our previous titles, is the impression I get. It was something that we put in, but not a massive priority. But people really dig it. Yeah. People really dig it, and it costs us little development time to do. We can, and so it's something that we'd like to continue.
Because one of the cultural pillars of Paradox is function over form.
Totally.
Where it's like it's not enough to make a pretty game; it has to play well as well.
Yeah, precisely.
But I feel like if you just take that at face value, it's kind of misleading, because a game needs to sort of have both. And some people, it's more of a spectrum than like either or.
I'm a kind of classic Paradox player in that for me, the gameplay is not the only thing, but it is the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
I feel like if the game systems are satisfying, I can deal with a game that isn't the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Whereas a pretty game that's over in 6 hours that I never want to play again has very limited appeal for me. I don't play a lot of AAA mainstream games at all.
It's like a spectrum where, like, on one side you have like OG Dwarf Fortress or like MUDs, text-based games, and then on the other side you have like, I was going to name specifics, but I decided against it now because that would be mean. But, like a pretty game that doesn't have a lot of substance to it.
It's like the difference between like really rich, hearty, sort of whole grain bread and candy floss. Yeah. One might not be as delicious, but it's much more nourishing. Yeah. And the other is just like, oh, this is great, but it has no nutritional value.
One of them you can eat every day for 1,000 days, and one of them is like, I'll have it every now and then.
Right. That's it. But in any case, this is the 21st century, and we do need to update our visual presentation.
Absolutely.
And that also part of that presentation, our presentation in general, not just visual. So we need to up our audio game.
Absolutely. It's not just, because when you talk about form, I feel like it's not just visual, it's also it's audiovisual. I'd say.
Totally. Okay, so I don't really have any immediate territorial designs on this guy because I feel like I don't want to take more territory than I can control. So I would like to just humiliate him and force him to quit the war.
Yeah.
Do you have any other needs from this?
Maybe we can like get him to destroy some frontier outposts just to.
I got a bunch of
at the bottom,
seed planet ones.
Like there, destroy outposts. Like that, just to cripple them a little bit.
Yeah.
More.
Okay, that's reasonable.
If we can, depends on how much war score we get, really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Okay, I'm happy with that. I just want to basically get out of this so that we can rebuild. So let me see where my fleets are at.
Yeah, I think I may actually, depending on how this goes, I may actually have to white piece out of this other war.
Okay.
But that's fine. We'll get back to them. So let's unpause, go with no fast speed for now. And immediately I get hyperdrive. Oh, I can research hyperdrive 3, which is fantastic. But I need to build stuff first.
Yeah, I gotta get some ships going as well.
Some. Well, I was gonna call them meat shields, but really they aren't. So where is this? Oh my God! How did I even get down there?
Can we turn it to normal speed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this might be a sort of fiddly maneuver where I try to pick where I fight him.
Yep.
Because I'm heading down there, but I want to fight him where I want to fight him.
Absolutely. We'll go normal, just for you.
Construction complete.
And they are trying to take over this planet, but I should be able to handle it.
An enemy fleet.
Yeah.
Okay, he's greatly superior. He's got a 32,000 fleet.
Oh, damn. What are his war goals? Let's pause and see. What does he want? Negotiate. He wants to humiliate and seed some planets.
Interesting.
So
okay, I've got like 17,000 and he's got 32. Yeah. Okay, so I better not fight him yet. I had better...
Right. I am on -1 acceptance for white piecing out this other war. Then I can come down and help you.
Okay, hold on. Let me... Yeah, I'm going to just build up my fleet as fast as I possibly can here. Because...
someone is asking what's the best mod so far for Stellaris. There's a lot of good mods, especially if you like third-party science fiction, which is not ours. But okay, let's see. Well, I am slightly inferior here, but should have a bigger fleet coming in soon as well. Yeah, there we go. Now we should be winning this, no problem. We can take back to Bukred. But there, as people are saying, Alpha mod is pretty good. There's one that expands. Oh my God, I'm mind farting so much right now. Your ethics, a lot, and adds a bunch of them. I think because currently we have, what is it, 5, 6 paths. Where it's like you can choose one or another. And that one I think adds another 4. If you want more choice there, that's pretty good. To be more specific about what you want.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, our modding community is absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
They have so many great ideas. Yeah, they're taking a ton of territory on the border here.
Okay.
They're whooping us pretty good. I can't risk a fleet action.
All right, I'm coming
If we
down.
do this new thing that we talk about in the. We do this new thing that we talk about in today's dev diary, I could potentially get in there and just fight a delaying action, accepting a few losses but hoping to wear them down so that they have to go back to their territory and repair and buy some time in that way. I couldn't outright destroy their fleet, but I might be able to inflict some attrition on them while waiting for trying to create better conditions. That's what strategy is. It shouldn't just be about numbers and who has the bigger pile of numbers.
Absolutely.
To me, I like the idea of being able to influence the outcome of a war, not just by drag dropping and dropping more units on the field than he can, but by deploying them in an intelligent way so that I can win.
Yeah, that's why, to draw a parallel to some of our other games, that's why something like a morale system exists in EU4, for example.
I'm a big fan of the concept we're putting in of disengagement.
Yeah.
Basically, when ships don't fight to the death anymore, they are crewed by, in most cases, reasonable, mortal creatures who have families and kids and don't necessarily want to die for the greater glory of the Xanir Compact. And it leads to the idea is that when ships get damaged, they don't get outright destroyed, but there's a chance that they will drop out of the fight. In games like EU4, that happens as well, where a ship that is damaged to a certain degree will stop contributing firepower to the contest. And if you win, they rejoin your fleet damaged. If you lose, if all of your ships are either destroyed or disengaged, you lose and you go force retreat. And that means that one battle won't be absolutely completely destructive. You will have the ability to get some of your troops out of that losing fight and rebuild. I think that's really excellent because it allows you a chance to recover with clever play.
I do wish I could see how they have built their ships. Can I? Yeah, I can. They have missiles and some flak battery, but mostly missiles, it seems. On their some kinetic, mostly missiles. So probably let's see what are my ships like. They are, I mean, they're a solid mix of everything, I suppose, with some armor and deflectors. All right.
Okay, so I'm gradually building up here. They're chewing through my border pretty good, but
yeah, not
much that can be done.
I'm quite close to you right now. I'm coming into Girtab in like 7 jumps or something.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to reinforce my own fleets. Right here. Though I am slightly running out of minerals, but it's fine. I have a good production going at least. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to make Federation ships. I want to make my own ships. Will there ever be more story-based materials in the Stellaris campaign? Maybe deal with rebels from your empire or proxies, bounty hunters paid by other empires who want to harm you but not necessarily go to war with you?
I think that we absolutely should do that. We should do all sorts of things with... but again, with no shortage of ideas.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's just always time, right?
Yeah.
We have a ton of ideas for future story packs. Not just full expansions, but the smaller story packs like Synthetic Dawn that are focused on a specific theme.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep on making them as long as you guys are happy to play
them. Well, Guardsman Fallout, that's not a question. He even recognizes himself that it's not a question, but he says, burn the heretics, the Xenos, the mutants, and the madmen.
Well, that's, they ain't burning themselves.
Yep. Alright, so I have 8k troops or ships.
Okay.
With some more coming in.
Okay, so you got out of that other war?
Yeah, I white pieced out.
Alright.
So let's see. Just need a bunch of corvettes, I guess. I lost everything in that war. I wasn't looking. How do I look now? I mean, I still have my battleships. All 48 naval capacity of it.
One of the things I'm really excited for is ship behavior with the different combat behaviors with combat computers.
Yeah.
Where you can set it to be a swarmer that just charges to minimum range and tries to knife fight. You can set your ship to be a long range sniper type. So if you want to go for a missiles and or strike craft carrier.
Yeah.
Like aircraft carrier, you're not going to have an aircraft carrier stupidly bowling into torpedo range and trying to fight destroyers at 300 yards.
Yeah.
That to me is really good. Having ship classes that act noticeably different and fight differently, and you can decide your fleet composition and the way that you like. That's a big deal. I like that. I want that a lot.
Construction
Okay, so my fleet's starting to get organized here. They're all coming together at Geartab, which is the logical place for us to join up. Because it's if he pushes through all here, they seem to have slowed down. They might be, I don't know precisely what they're up to, but it's giving us time to reorganize here, so that's good.
Which is good also to reinforce with more ships.
Yes.
So I do need those corvettes to protect my battleships. I mean, if I wasn't a robot, I would think that it was horrible that I'm essentially sacrificing my smaller ships to to protect my big ships.
Yeah, I like the idea of loss tolerance that we talked about, where you can set as a policy how hard you want your fleets to fight. If you're a pacifist, and it'll be also affected by your ethics and things like that. So if you want to be a hive mind that fights suicidally and basically your ships will not disengage, or they won't disengage very often. You might stay in the fight longer, but you'll also take much heavier casualties. Whereas if you want to be a pacifist who fights defensively and tries to use interior lines and wear down the enemy over time so they finally give up, you can have set a low loss tolerance, get out of battles quickly, usually ceding control of the system, but also your fleet is still mostly intact. And you can switch that back and forth based on the situation you're in. It's not something that you're going to be locked into forever. I think that's great. It reflects real history. For instance, I mean, you can talk about like the strategy of defense employed by the Fabians. Was it Fabian, the guy, the Roman senator who fought Hannibal and advocated delaying him and wearing him down over time? Fabian strategy? I don't remember. I'm not so much of a classicist as I am.
I mean, you are the history guy.
Yeah, it's just I don't remember every period with equal. But anyways, you can take that sort of long-term delay and wear down approach, or you can take a Japanese in World War II fight to 100% casualties approach. You have the choice. Both will have advantages and disadvantages. So that's cool. I like it.
Let's see. Let's take my transport fleet and move down as well, just so I have it ready.
My fleet is assembled, and we are at a strength of 27,000.
I have an additional almost 10. So we should be matching them.
We should put an attack on these guys.
Yeah. I have a bunch of ships coming in. I can actually build a bit more, so I should probably get some cruisers going, just so I can do a little bit more damage.
Probably going to take some losses, so I should queue up some replacements.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's assign a leader to this Federation fleet, actually. Damn it. And I have my Coadjutron VC. 7 out of 9. Admiral for my main fleets. Alright, so let's see what chat is saying. Yeah, a lot of people are asking for rebel uprisings akin to E4, which can happen.
One of the things that I would like to do, I mean, obviously it's a 4X game with a focus firmly on space.
Yeah.
I would like to have more interactions with things on the ground. Planet-based stuff. And obviously having a thing where you can have meaningful rebel uprisings would be very, very key to that. There's no shortage of good ideas of how we can do that. We can look at our other games for inspiration, and we have no shortage of ideas of our own. Definitely want to do it. There's no reason not to, other than what I will say to people is it's less a question, as long as you all keep playing the game and you're happy to keep supporting us, we will keep making expansions because we like to do it. It's not just our job. We genuinely enjoy to do it. We just can't do all of the ones that we want to do at the same time. We have to kind of focus on a couple of things at once and get them out. But yeah, one day I'd love to.
Let's see. Yeah. Get Martin in here. You can use sign language. I mean, I would have to know sign language to know what he's talking about.
He'd probably just be swearing at us the whole time. And
probably like, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, everything's okay, you wanker. Don't worry about it. Alrighty. Okay. So, much of the work of war is the mundane business of logistics.
Yeah.
That is a thing. But if you want to fight, you got to be ready to fight.
You got to put in the work.
You throw yourself into a fight without preparation, you're planning to fail. That's it.
Right.
Okay, how are we doing here? Are we assembled?
I have two ships coming in.
Okay.
And after that, I'm good.
I've got some second wave reinforcements queued up, but
complete.
I think otherwise we are good. Right. Oh, I got research coming as well. Man, these late games where you got a ton of things going, it's honestly challenging to not control pause. I might have mentioned that in a previous playthrough, in a previous session, but when I play single player, my finger is hovering over that space bar constantly.
Oh yeah, I mean it kind of comes from how I've played video games, but like my thumb has always been on spacebar.
Yeah. Whenever I'm doing anything like ship designs or like economy management or developing planets or anything like that in any of the Paradox games, I always pause because I hate the idea of something happening in real time while I'm not looking. That drives me crazy. Okay.
All right, so we are.
So hold on, let me just assemble here. Merge.
I'll be the Federation leader or Federation president for another 4 years, so we are good. I'm gonna move my fleet to Yuval, just to be a little bit closer.
Okay, hold up, I just gotta assemble here because I got a bunch of them all separate.
Come when you're ready. And we'll have a grand old time.
Yes. Many aliens were killed in the making of this episode. Many aliens were harmed really, really bad. Okay.
Does the Humanoids pack add anything outside of cosmetics? I mean,
the
cosmetics and sounds.
To get it out before Christmas, it had to be light in that respect. It is primarily a cosmetic pack, but we've had a ton of people talking about. Oh, he's on the move. Where are you going?
I'm going to Evolve, but now I may go somewhere else. Since he moved away from Kroldar, I'll just move into Kroldar then. Since he moved back to Obtelis, I think he got scared by me moving in, even though I am quite literally almost slightly over a third of his size. Maybe there's another war going on. Nope, it's just ours.
Yeah, this is it's a cosmetic pack. There's no new major gameplay features. But for the people who are into that sort of thing, who like to have more visual variety and who are interested in the new voices and tracks, we think you'll really like it.
Yeah.
And it gave us a chance to get something out for the holidays so that you didn't have to wait until Cherry.
Yeah.
Until 2.0.
And like it's completely optional. If you don't want more humanoid things and you don't want the advisors and the music, you don't have to. It won't hamper your experience of the game in any way.
No, it's a pretty classic Paradox DLC. You can take it or leave it. It will enhance your experience considerably. You're not going to be in any way handicapped if you choose not to buy it. There's no paywall anything in terms of locking features away from you.
Is electronic or biological warfare planned? And the answer to that is maybe.
Okay. Biological warfare would have to be some form of... all the weapons in the game right now are space weapons, i.e. they can target other ships. Obviously, biological warfare would only be targetable on planets. So that would involve some sort of rework of how planetary invasions go.
Yep.
Which might happen in the future. We might have anti-planet weapons, like you could make a class of bomber type ships that that have mostly assault landing support type weapons. I think that would be cool.
Now the Sunner are in 2 wars against the Bloodletters. They've changed their name.
Okay.
And they're still fanatical purifiers, interestingly enough. And us, which means probably gonna lose this. Unfortunately, we didn't take any grand ambitions with our
No, it's fine though. I mean, basically I feel like we've taken a lot of territory. We've got a lot of unassimilated pops who need to
sure.
have their minds changed about freedom and self-determination.
Yeah, I could do some.
Maybe we could actually literally change their minds, like take the existing minds out, put them in a bin somewhere, and replace them with something more useful to us.
I could do with some colonization.
Okay, so
some mineral world.
Let's get in orbit around Nagrim and take it back.
Let's move in. I'm gonna just straight up move my, actually. Gonna move to Nagrim, bomb that down, then we can move our fleets into... No, let's stay there since that's a natural choke point. And then when we feel that we're ready, we have taken back the Uproth system, we can move into Obtelius. And at that point we should be back at 0 war score, and then we can start messing them up. So we can have that UC humiliation.
So they stabbed us in the back and got stabbed in the back in turn.
Yep.
Well,
now all that's
it's
missing.
A Blorg eat Blorg galaxy, folks.
All that's missing is that the Bloodletters get stabbed by the Fallen Empire, which probably wouldn't happen unless they colonized the wrong world.
Such violence.
Yeah.
So much stabbing. Why don't we all get along? If everyone just surrendered, there'd be no need for all this pointless bloodshed.
It's very out of character for you. I feel like you're lying somehow, even though you weren't making any statements really.
That's the key with me. I try to stay mysterious.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this new expansion. It's gonna be amazing.
I am too. I've purposefully stayed away from it because I kind of, because I know that Martin and me, or you, depending on how sick he is, or maybe it'll be you and Martin. Who knows? I know that we're gonna be playing that when we can.
Yeah.
As soon as it's ready, and I'm gonna play it a little bit for that, but I'm gonna stay sort of unbiased.
Yeah, totally.
Throughout development.
I mean, we got to stay grounded on the version that's out and like the retail version that's out right now. But playing the dev version at work, really promising stuff so far. I feel good about it. I feel really good. Okay, so they're showing. It looks like they're turning and fighting the other guys, so we'll have a chance to take these planets that I lost back.
I think they consider us weak because we haven't fought back yet.
Yeah, well, they're not going to consider us weak when I turn their homeworld into a glass crater.
I wish you could do that.
Man, these space boars, we conquered them, and then they immediately got invaded and conquered by someone else. Man, they're just having a bad time.
Oh, the Curator Sigma Enclave. Okay. Let's see. Patch 2.0 is so great. I like the changes from low key.
Yeah, we think it's going to be... It's the reason we went for the 2.0, which...
Yeah.
We're not just grandstanding. We're not just trying to say, wow, hey, buy this new thing. It'll change the world. We are actually changing the damn universe. It's a massive rework of many core parts of the game that we think... No, that we know is for the better. We wouldn't do it if we weren't really, really confident that this is going to improve areas of the game that have been lacking for a long time. Oh, here they come.
There they are. All right,
so they're in Obtellus, and it looks like they might be coming in for a counterattack. Let me see what we
they
can
are
see.
entering Hyperlink to Uproth in days. So they're coming in. If we just stay by Nagrim, I think we will have the best possible chance to survive.
Yeah, we'll get them. All right, here we come.
Right. It's this. You can keep track of how the battle is actually doing. I'm gonna look at it cinematically.
Yeah.
Looks so awesome.
We are.
Actually, I should probably look at it from the other direction.
Yeah, we are damaging. We are doing some pretty good damage to them.
Fantastic.
And my fleet is taking quite light losses.
Maybe my fleet is no one taking all the losses then. Yeah.
Oh, get some. Oh, such violence.
It's lovely. Love it. killing all them Xenos.
I'm a Canadian.
Die.
I'm a Canadian. Violence seems unnatural and wrong.
But you have a lot of guns in Canada.
Despite our performance in war, we actually don't like it.
Yeah, well,
that's the weird. But that's the thing about us. Like as a nation, we've never started a war, but we've never lost one either.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to take the credit for things that my grandfathers did. They were cool dudes. I'm just a dude who makes video games. Alrighty. So yeah, we whooped them good.
Yeah. I'm gonna land my armies on Nagrim now and take it back.
Okay.
I did take some losses, but it was pretty alright.
Yeah, I lost about a third of my fleet, but
Okay, yeah.
still feel like I'm in pretty good condition. It might be worth nipping back. Do we think he's going to fight again? Well, he lost his whole fleet, and he's fighting on another front. So we might actually seize the initiative and try to take 2 worlds. But we should probably send our fleets back to get repaired in case he shows up with another fight, but one at a time so that we keep something
Absolutely
defensively. Again, splitting your fleets, there are reasons you do it sometimes in real life. You get in a battle, some of your ships come out of it completely unscathed, others are completely messed up. You send the badly damaged ones back to get fixed. There's all sorts of reasons why people split their forces in real war. You have a large front, and you don't want to leave parts of it undefended. There's a limit to how much food the countryside can produce through foraging. If you have a giant 100,000 man army in a tiny little place, I mean, that's why the 30 Years' War was so deadly in what's modern Germany and Czech Republic, is that armies basically didn't have organized systems of supply, so they survived by foraging, which is a polite euphemism for going around and holding knives to the farmers' daughters until they tell you where the seed grain is buried. War was an ugly, it's always been, but it was especially ugly back then, because most of the casualties weren't from battle action, they were from disease and starvation.
Absolutely.
Armies it was expensive to build an army, and you could lose one in an afternoon. Yeah. So generals were very cautious, and they wouldn't risk battle unless they felt they had the advantage. So what would happen is these armies would chase each other around the countryside for months or even years, steadily draining it of all of its food, and with a terrible cost to the local civilians. And that's why the 30 Years' War in particular was seen as so devastating and horrible. It had a terrible effect on the population of, I mean, they estimate that modern Germany and Czech Republic lost a third of their population, which is crazy.
Do you do like a history podcast or something? Because I'd listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say. Like, history's dramatic and exciting. I don't know why people who say it's boring had bad teachers. I really believe that. Yeah, are we going to the next system now?
I am moving in. We're in no.
Okay, hold up. Let me.
No rush.
Yeah, let me get my transport fleets over there, because I've got some troops who are ready to land as well.
All right. Yeah, I have my guys moving over as well. We took back your planet, so you can fix that up with a brand new space station, a shiny space station.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I took it back. Yeah, I gotta fix this thing. Okay.
So yeah, we have a question here about performance, and sometimes some questions I think are really funny, because I understand, like, oh, are you gonna look at performance? And it's like, the question feels like it's like, well, we turned off this thing that was doing bad performance. We unchecked the add bad performance mark in the compiler. It's like it's an ongoing process.
Now, we never want to have a flippant attitude about it where we ever give the impression that we don't care. I'm just going to say it's debugging performance is one of the most unpredictable and time-consuming things.
Absolutely.
In our process.
But it's also done continuously.
It's something that we do work on. We have regular fix weeks where I tell my guys to stop working on new features and only address old bugs and performance type stuff. We are going to try to get it better over time. We know about it. We're not happy with the way it is right now, and we're going to try to make it better. So bear with us. We appreciate your patience. It is a big game, especially in the late game. There's a ton of calculations happening all the time. There's always things we can do to optimize it. Yeah. And we will do what we can to find the time and the resources to do that over time.
It just always reminds me of have you seen the trailer for the Goat Simulator MMO update?
Yeah.
Where it's like they just go into the engine and click add MMO features, and then it becomes an MMO, and it's just like I wish game development was like that.
Yeah, it's not as simple as press a button and things happen. It's sometimes it is, but you have 10,000 buttons.
Absolutely.
That would be the way I would. And none of them are labeled.
No.
And you have to press them one at a time, and each wrong one you press spawns like 100 zombies that you have to fight, and they have buttons all over their faces. Okay, so we're taking. Are you landing there too?
Yeah.
You're landing on all the places. Oh, none of my ground troops are getting any XP, man.
Oh, sorry.
They were 10 level up. I'm just joking.
I was a little bit unsure for a moment, but I don't think they can get XP.
No, they don't. They don't. But I always like to joke when fighting. It's like, I'm sorry, officer, for beating that man on the street to death, but I was like 15 XP away from leveling up. And it's like, okay, son, but you be careful next time.
All right, we need to get 20 war scores so that we can.
All right.
We can humiliate
so
these guys.
we can take the fight into his territory here.
Yep.
I'm looking at the hyperspace map, and it seems like we should head down to Dorfil.
I think that is an excellent idea. I'm just gonna queue up some reinforcement in case I need them. All right, so I'm just gonna go straight to Dorfil.
Yeah, I need some new ships as well. I took some losses there.
I mean, what's nice with transport fleets is when you take back your own planets or your allies' planets, it's not like you need to keep the transport fleet on that planet because they're not going to rebel against their original.
Yeah, well, these
masters.
guys. I don't know if it changes hands multiple times. Does it keep the penalty for recently conquered? Because one of the ones that we took was the one that we had just taken from the space boars, who are no longer an empire.
Nope. These guys are super happy right now.
Perfectly happy to be liberated, despite my giant Blorg-shaped boot descending from heaven less than a year before.
Zero unrest.
That is extremely charitable of them.
I think it's because they're mostly part of your world now. Yeah, they're all cybernetic.
Oh, are they all converted?
I think so.
Nice.
I mean, you could probably check that easier than me, but
excellent. Okay, see. I knew they'd be happier. I knew it.
Yeah.
They just needed to trust me.
It's almost like the happiness implant works.
Yeah. I need one of those in real life.
Guardsman Fallout wants an easy difficulty, because Stellaris is hard.
Easy difficulty. There's a weird thing with player psychology where if you put an easy difficulty,
they will never choose it.
People feel guilty or bad choosing it, so they won't do it. So what a lot of modern games do is the normal difficulty is actually the easy one.
Absolutely.
It's just a question of optics. We don't want the player to feel like they're bad or having a suboptimal experience, or that they're having like extra bonuses given to them. Normal difficulty is kind of the default mode. Martin can explain this better than I can, but basically there's there's a psychological block many people have to actually playing anything that's labeled as easy. Okay, I'm bombing them, and I should probably land this time. I don't know where your troops are at.
Yeah, mine are slightly back. Didn't want to bring them into the fight.
Okay.
I wonder, is the... Martin promised me that he'd add a Blondie system, and we don't have it in this galaxy.
Okay, ready to land.
Sad. Actually, we don't know much of the galaxy. That might be why.
Maybe prepare your troops for a surface attack. Man. Empire Strikes Back was so good. So good. So stoked for the new Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
God, it's gonna be amazing.
Are you joining for company Star Wars watching?
Yes. One of the cool things our company is doing is the whole we rented a theater, and the whole damn company is gonna go see the new Star Wars when it comes out.
I promised my dad that as a birthday present, I was like, yeah, we'll go have dinner, have a few beers, and then we'll go watch the new Star Wars. And I called him up the day before we got the email about the rented theater. I was like, all right, so when should we do it? And he was like, can we do it on the premiere day? I was like, yeah, fantastic. Sounds perfect. So so on the 13th of December, I'm going to go watch The Last Jedi twice.
Nice. Okay, so we've taken that place.
They're
coming in to fight. Oh, here we go. They're trying to get past us? Yeah, they're not trying to fight. They're trying to get to the...
All right, let's move in. Where are they going? I think they're going for my fleet.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to meet you at Dorfil 1.
Yep.
Construction complete.
I think that's what they're doing. Because we haven't added the whole thing that you have to cross
all right.
thing.
Okay,
yet.
they're engaged in combat with mine now.
I was a little bit too far away, but I'm engaging now.
No, they surrendered. They gave up.
Oh, they gave up. What did we get?
They fired a single volley of missiles and then thought better of it.
Oh, and we destroyed the frontier outpost somewhere.
Okay. Another thing I'm really excited for the new border system is that frontier outposts are going away.
Yeah.
Frontier outposts had a good reason for being, but the fact that you could never really predict, like there was no indication of what you would get when you built one, and once your borders expanded, it was very difficult to predict when you could safely disband them.
Yeah.
And they were just a constant tax on your influence to maintain. I like the idea of the one-time cost for claiming a system, and then it's up to you. You have a finite resources with which to build them up. So you choose key strategic systems that you want to develop. It's just like cities.
Yeah.
Or like military bases in real life. You can't be strong everywhere. If you try to be strong everywhere, you'll be weak everywhere. I mean, it's a classic, like he who defends everything defends nothing, right? But if you choose key systems to fortify and develop,
this is awesome.
You can do good. What's awesome?
I can research Mega Warform.
Oh. There's a giant transforming robots, all Japanese style, with like a transformation sequence that's mostly canned footage that they repeat every episode. That'd be amazing.
Sure. They do minimum Hunter Killer Army. About as much as my regular my regular things. Although they cost a lot. Maybe I shouldn't go for that and just go for something like core sector systems, actually, so I can start expanding within my borders.
Okay, so we won that. They decided they didn't want none.
Nope.
And
they are now humiliated. I think they were like, all right, well, the Bloodborne aren't gonna accept such a little bounty. They want death.
No disintegrations.
Yeah, actually, I think they want to kill the entire Mythfell Combine, which is what they're doing. Havarigan Nation. Oh yeah, these are the pacifist authoritarian that spawned out of the fanatic purifiers.
Cool.
I'll take the Mega War form later.
Yeah. So we started a couple of wars and we did pretty good.
Yeah.
We expanded our borders a bit. Now we've got
we white-pieced one, but it's fine.
Now we've got some people to convince of the futility of freedom. That'll be brilliant.
Yes. All right. Now we do Empire management. Let's upgrade all these buildings.
The spinning frog says pacifist and also passive fist. I'm a big fan of the as a Canadian, I like the passive fist.
Yes.
We don't go out looking for trouble.
But trouble finds us somehow. Or, I don't know. I like the saying. I've never started a fight, but I've finished all of them.
Look at all these game development internet tough guys all posturing on the stream.
Oh no.
Like we go and
I'm not saying I would.
Like we go and fight the cops on a moving train on top of a moving train on a regular basis, right? Because as you do.
I can tell you, I've never started a fight. I've also never finished one.
Oh. So you're 0 for 0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, does running away count as finishing a fight? It was finished on my terms.
Hey, do you know what? It's honestly the smart way to handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go up to fastest since we're at peace now. Just we can handle all the stuffs. Let's, yeah. Ooh.
Any more questions? Well, we still got a bit of time.
Yeah, we actually have no time. I just realized. Lol.
So hey,
yeah, we're actually out of time.
Hey, but we ended the war.
We ended the war. That's what we did. We ended all war in our federation.
And we sent a valuable message to the universe.
Yeah.
Surrender and be assimilated and get hugs.
Yes.
Hugs are great, man. Or you can die in the vast blank coldness of space.
Few things are better than hugs.
Or you can get Roblorg hugs. So hey,
yeah,
from us to you, here's one googly armed Roblorg hug.